Hi everyone, this is Stephan Oberhoff for another installment of Production Techniques and Music Inspiration. And I would love to demonstrate to you guys today my attempt in capturing a Brazilian rhythm that I love very much called the maracatu. They call it the Brazilian funk. It's their equivalent of what funk is for us. Let me play that for you real quick. This is the rhythm. What I find particularly interesting about that rhythm is the syncopation in the lower end, in the bass drums. The alfaya drums are doing this cool syncopation. So you can hear that's particularly very powerful rhythm. And I sort of copied the timing of the rhythm we heard earlier. First thing, obviously, I thought I'd have to start with the snare drum. That is most active is the snare drum. So here we go. The next thing that I wanted to try out, and I got pretty good results from, is to add one of the lower drums. I'm going to add one other low drum to it. Let's see what that does. Yeah. Gives a nice strong downbeat. One of the things I love using is, in lieu of a real alfaya drum, is my low bodhran, a Celtic instrument actually. But if you strike it like this, it's actually got a pretty close sound to a samba drum, the surdo, when it's got a very live head on it, you know. So I just recorded it 2 times in a vocal booth over there, and what I played to it was this. Doubled up. Adding the low African drum. Adding the snare drums. Adding the original kick drums. That's not too bad, you know, it's starting to come alive. But I realized that the programmed snare drums were still too sterile, you know. So I recorded a few live snare drums. I have a small snare drum here, which I also put in the vocal booth, and I recorded it 2 times. And when I recorded on it was just a simple, almost like a march style pattern. And this is what it sounds like. So I'm going to switch them on one by one now. Here's the shaker pattern. Programmed drums, programmed bass drums. Programmed snares. Programmed African low drum. Live bodhran. Live djembe. Live snare drum. So while you heard that many of the ingredients don't make sense all by themselves, it's still very, very interesting to see how they all come together, and all of a sudden you get this moving feeling. It's just odd for me sometimes. I think, yep, that kind of works, you know. If I try to do it correctly, I'm not getting anywhere. So this is fun, real big fun to put together. Now here comes the big surprise. The big surprise is that all of a sudden I thought, what would happen if we put like the Western funky American drums to this whole thing? And I have a plugin called Superior Drummer, which is a very, very good drum emulator. It's got just lovely live sounding things. I'm just going to play a little bit on it here for you. So you can hear the syncopation of the maracatu already in there. Ta-kum, ta-kum, ta-kum. So now I'm going to slowly switch the drum kit back on. And while I'm there, I'm going to also add a simple bass. What you're going to hear now is the snare, the live snare drum, the live djembe, and the drum kit as I programmed it. And then we're going to slowly add the other things in. Here we go. Drum kit here. Snare drum, live snare drum here. Baron drum up here. Live bodhran. Low Afro drum. Programmed snares. And programmed lower drums. It's starting to move. Okay, and lastly, I'm going to just turn on the bass. And there's a song that developed out of this, which I wanted to share with you guys. Here we go. Here's the funky bass, which is just a fingered jazz bass. It's basic. That's what we're talking about. Here we go. Top. Anyways, now I had this inspiration to play one of those sting-like keyboard patterns to it. And what that came out to be sounded like this. Okay, switching bass on. Lower drums, program ones. Low Afro drum. Programmed snares. Live bodhran. Programmed bodhran. Live djembe. Live snare. And the shaker. Now it clearly moves in towards an American sounding and a Western sounding direction, but it's still got lots of drive in it. I found a melody on an accordion and vocal after this. Let me see if I can turn them all on at the same time. The song that came out at the end, I just decided to give it a name. I called it Spirit of the Maracatu. So this is what you're listening to right now. Since I quickly grow tired of the same pattern, I had to figure out a way to change parts and arrange and sculpt, take things out, like take certain things out. In the beginning, I emptied out the entire rhythm besides the shaker and this keyboard pattern, and then I added an accordion and vocal melody to it, and this is how that sounds. It's my lovely little accordion, going back to my German roots. But not rhythmically, don't worry. That's the shaker pattern. Here's a cool vocal effect. Check this out. Here's the B section. When I found the name Spirit of the Maracatu, I almost broke out in tears. I think it moved me so much that all of a sudden, like whoever that things we call God, my higher power, my inspiration, would let me have that rhythm in my life. I was so happy about that. So I called it Spirit of the Maracatu, and I decided to put this stack of vocals on top of it, and what they say is just Spirit of the Maracatu. And here's how it sounds. Here we go. Okay, and then here comes a very, very funny part, is called the drum break. I thought, since I've never done a drum break like this before, I just took a vocal track and I vocalized something to see if I can come up with a drum break. And it sounds bizarre, but I'm going to show it to you anyhow. I think the ending is just go something like brakum, 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 rakatakataka. And then what I've done later on, have the instruments follow that and try to get it as tight and, you know, as powerful as it possibly can. So once we come to this point here, here's the drum break. Spirit of the Maracatu. And that's it. That's this nutty song that just came out of trying to emulate a Brazilian maracatu pattern. And it's now a full song, so you're going to get to hear it at the end of this video. Please enjoy. I hope this was interesting and helpful to if you're looking to unleash your own creativity. I find live instruments to help a great deal, because if I can reasonably play them well and then I put them together and overdub them on certain tracks, I find that to be a very gratifying experience, rather than just working with loops, which are usually too perfect and they have no dynamics to them. Live instruments are the real deal. You know, there's something about, if I can reasonably play that, something happens with me there. Something gets a certain energy comes out of me, and just keyboards and, you know, numbers and bars and are not that inspiring to me. So anyways, wanted to share that with you. I hope you enjoyed this. And of course, one day when the record's out, you can buy the whole record. There's a lot of interesting stuff on it. This is Stephan Oberhoff. I'm signing out. Be well.
spirit of a maracatu.